Hello my students, 5th grades, how are you today? Welcome again in Al-Hadi Al-Mohammad schools. Today, inshallah, we will complete our classes with lesson 3, grammar. So you need to open your pupils book, page 85. And we have an outcome for today. Use will and going to talk about the future. Now, my students, please open your pupils book, page 85. Will and going to. For our lesson today, we are going to use will and going to talk about the future. Now, my students, look at this picture. What can you see in this picture? Yes, we can see a boy and his father. Now, what is this boy doing? Yes, excellent. He is playing piano. Do you know this boy who is? Yes, he is Mozart, and he is a famous composer as a young boy. Now look at this sentence about this boy. His father said, "One day my son will be famous. One day my son will be famous." سوف يصبح ابني في يوم من الأيام مشهور. Do you think this sentence is about present, past, or future? Yes, excellent. Here we have will, so we talk about future in this sentence. لذلك نحن نتحدث عن المستقبل في هذه الجملة. Now, do you think this boy is famous now? No. He isn't famous now, but he will be famous in the future. سوف يصبح مشهور في المستقبل. Not now. In the first picture, is he playing the piano for the king? No, he isn't playing the piano for the king in the first picture. But look at the second picture. What is this boy doing? Yes, he is playing the piano. For whom he is playing the piano? Yes, look at here. For the king. So he is playing piano for the king. Now look at this sentence. He's going to play for the king next week. Next week. He's going to play for the king next week. Is this sentence a prediction or planning for the future? هل في هذه الجملة توقع معين كالجملة السابقة أم أنه تخطيط للقيام بعمل ما في المستقبل؟ Yes, in this sentence we have a future plan because we have next week لأنه يوجد لدينا next week. So we specify the time here. قمنا بتحديد الوقت next week. So in this sentence we have plan for the future. وليس توقع or prediction كالجملة السابقة. Now look at the last picture. What can you see in the last picture? Yes, we can see a boy and he is playing a piano. Now look at this woman. What is she doing? Yes, she is listening to the music. Now what happened for this woman? Yes, excellent. She is going to fall. How do you think that she is going to fall? Excellent, because she is right at the edge. Also, she's losing her balance. وأيضا فقدت توازنها. Now look at this sentence. Look, She's going to fall. She's going to fall. So in this sentence we talk about something we can see right now. نتحدث في هذه الجملة عن شيء نشاهده الآن. So we use going to أنها سوف تسقط. So we use will and want to make predictions about the future. نستخدم will أو want وهي صيغة النفي من will to make predictions لتقديم اقتراحات للمستقبل. As we see in the first sentence, one day my son will be famous. في يوم من الأيام سوف يكون ابني مشهور. So this is a prediction. هذا توقع للمستقبل. And we use going to talk about future plans and intentions. وأيضا نقوم باستخدام ال going to للتحدث عن خطط مستقبلية. وأيضا intentions أي أهداف ونوايا مستقبلية. And also we use going to make a prediction based on something we can see or hear right now. وأيضا يمكننا أن نستخدم going to للتحدث عن توقعات مستقبلية ولكنها تحدث في وقت التكلم. Based on something we can see or hear right now أي نستطيع سماعه أو مشاهدته الآن. As we see in the last picture when we say she's going to fall. She's going to fall توقعات لحدث معين ولكن يمكننا أن نشاهده أو نسمعه الآن. Now look at the verbs after will and going to. Here we have be after will and this is infinitive verb. We have will and we use infinitive verb after will. Now look at going to. Also here we have play and fall. Also we have infinitive verbs after going to. We have play and fall. And look at the verbs before going to. We have is. And we use is because we have he. And we have 3 suggestions of verbs that we have to use before going to, which are is or are or am, according to the subject. If we have singular pronouns, we have to use is. If we have she, he, it, we have to use is. And if we have we, they, you, we have to use are. And if we have I, we have to use am. And then going to, and after going to, verb should be infinitive. So after will and going to, verbs should be infinitive. Now in this table you can see another information about using will and going to. We use will or want and we say that want is the negative form from will. Want هي نفي will. We use will to predict the future. نستخدم will للتنبؤ بالمستقبل. For example, it will be hot. The weather will get colder tomorrow. Omar will pass the driving test. So we use will to predict the future للتنبؤ بأي حدث سوف يحدث بالمستقبل. And also we use will for actions that we decide now at the moment of speak. أي نستخدم will للتحدث عن أشياء قررنا القيام بها في لحظة الكلام. For example, I will wash the dishes. في لحظة الكلام قرر غسل الصحون ولذلك نستخدم will. I will wash the dishes. سالم will do the homework. قرر القيام بعمل واجباته في لحظة التكلم. Now look at be going to. As you can see here, we have be. So we have 3 verbs we have to use from verbs to be, which are am, is, are. Am, and the negative form from am not. Is, isn't. Are, aren't. And remember that we use I with am, I am. And she, he, or it with is. Also they, we, and you with are. And then you have to use going to, and as we said before that we have to use verbs infinitive after going to and will. Now you can use be going to for actions that we have decided before we speak. أي أننا نستخدم going to للتحدث عن الأعمال التي قررنا القيام بها قبل أن نتحدث. And the forms of be going to are am, is, or are. For example, I am going to, he or she is going to, we, they, you are going to. And this is an example. Our friends, which mean they, have decided that they are going to visit their relatives. أنهم قرروا أن يقوموا بزيارة أقاربهم. So in this sentence قرروا القيام بهذه الأعمال قبل التحدث بها. And here we have another example. Salma is going to read a novel. Is going to read a novel. أنها تريد أن تقرأ رواية. هي قررت القيام بهذا الفعل قبل التحدث به. Now my students, let's see this graphic.
Will and going to. One day my son will be famous. He is going to play for the king next week. He's going to play for the king next week. Look, she is going to fall. Look, she's going to fall. One day my son will be famous. He's going to play for the king next week. Look, she's going to fall.
Now my students, move to the second activity. Complete with the correct form of will or going to. You have to use will or going to according to the meaning of each sentence. Let's begin with the first one. John, in the future, I think music will sound completely different. So this is a prediction about the future. هذا هو توقع للمستقبل. So we have to use will sound and pay attention that the verb should be infinitive after will and going to. There, and here we have not be any musical instrument. So here also we are talking about predictions in the future, and we will complete by using won't be, the negative form of will, which is won't be any musical instrument. And here we have we use computers to make music. And so in this sentence we are talking about the predictions in the future. So we have to use will with verb infinitive, and here we have to say will use، أي أننا سوف نستخدم الكمبيوتر لعمل الموسيقى. Also here we have to use will with use. Remember we have to use verb infinitive after will or won't. Tracy, I don't agree. I love the sound of different instruments. أي أنها لا تتوافق معه بالرأي، وأيضا تتوقع استخدام آلات موسيقية مختلفة. And she said, I learn. In this sentence, she's talking about her planning for the future. تتكلم عن خططها المستقبلية. And she said, I learn to play lots of instruments. So here we have to use going to لأنها تتحدث عن خطط مستقبلية وليست توقعات. I am going to learn to play lots of instruments. I, also here she said, I write songs with my best friend. Also, this is planning for the future, so we have to say I am going to write. I am going to write songs with my best friend. And we are going to perform for our families and friends. وسوف نقوم بتقديمهم لعائلتنا وأصدقائنا. So here we have we, and we have to use are. And after I, in going to, we have to use am. And remember, my students, that verbs after going to should be infinitive. I am going to learn. I am going to write. I am going to perform. Now let's move to Alex. Alex said, look, the lights are going down. The musicians are on the stage. تقول انظر, the lights are going down, الأضواء تنطفئ. The musicians are on the stage, وأيضا الموسيقيين موجودين على stage. The concert, yes, excellent. The concert is going to start. Is going to start because we are talking about something happened at the time of speak. نتحدث عن شيء يحدث في لحظة التكلم. Be careful, you drop your chocolate on the floor. انتبه, you are going to drop. أنت سوف تسقط الشوكولاتة على الأرض. So here we have to use are going to drop. توقعات لحدوث شيء معين بلحظة التكلم نفسها. You are going to drop your chocolate on the floor. So here we have to use are going to, and we have to use are because here we have plural pronoun, which is you. Also remember that in verbs after going to should be infinitive. Drop and start. Now let us move to the third activity. Discuss with your partner. The first one. Do you think computers will replace musical instruments in the future? Why and why not? ماذا تتوقع عزيزي الطالب بالنسبة للموسيقى في المستقبل؟ هل تتوقع أن الكمبيوتر سوف يحل محل الآلات الموسيقية؟ And tell us why or why not. The second one, what music are going to listen to this week? ما هي الموسيقى التي تريد أن تستمع لها في هذا الأسبوع؟ Pay attention, my students. In the first one, you have to talk about the predictions in the future. سوف تتحدث عن توقعات مستقبلية بالنسبة للآلات الموسيقية and you have to use will. لذلك سوف تستخدم بإجابتك will لأنك تتحدث عن توقعات مستقبلية. And in number 2, you are talking about planning in a specific time in the future. أنت تتحدث عن تخطيطك للقيام بشيء معين خلال فترة زمنية معينة في المستقبل. And you have to use going to. Please, my student, try to do this activity with your family and don't forget to send it for me. That's all for today. Thank you very much and see you next class. Goodbye.